Naval warfare in World War I was mainly characterized by blockades. The Allied powers, with their larger fleets and surrounding positions, largely succeeded in their blockades of Germany and other Central Powers. The efforts of the Central Powers to break that blockade, or to establish an effective counter-blockade with submarines and commerce raids, were eventually unsuccessful. The dates for these theaters were July 28, 1914 to November 11, 1918. Their locations were the Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, North Sea, Mediterranean Sea, Black Sea, Baltic Sea, and Persian Gulf, as well as the English Channel. The North Sea was the main theater of the war for the surface action. The British Grand Fleet took position against the German High Seas Fleet. Britain's larger fleet could also maintain a blockade of Germany, cutting it off from overseas trade and other resources. Germany's fleet remained mostly in harbor behind their screen of mines, occasionally attempting to lure the British fleet into a battle. Although the English Channel was of vital importance to the British Expeditionary Force fighting in France, there were no big warships of the British Royal Navy in the Channel. The primary threat to the British forces in the Channel was the German High Seas Fleet, based near Heligoland. The German fleet, if let out into the North Sea, could have destroyed any ship in the Channel. The German High Seas Fleet could muster at least 13 dreadnoughts and many armored cruisers, along with dozens of destroyers to attack the Channel. The Inkerman and Cerisoles were Navarin-class minesweepers. They were designed to clear naval mines along the coast of France and in the English Channel. They were named after major French military battles: the Battle of Inkerman, which was fought on November 5, 1854, during the Crimean War of 1853 to 1856, and the Battle of Cerisoles, which was fought on April 11, 1544, during the Italian War of 1542 to 1546. There was also a sister ship named the Sebastopol, which was also built alongside the Inkerman and the Cerisoles. A contract for $2.5 million was awarded to the Canadian Car and Foundry to construct 12 minesweepers for the French government, which was reported in February of 1918. They were built in what was known as Fort William, Ontario. Half of the order was completed by early November of 1918. Each vessel was 135 feet long and rated at a 321 gross registered tonnage. Their steel frames, also wooden hulls, were divided into 4 watertight compartments. Each ship was fitted with twin screws and a single funnel, and had a top speed of around 12 knots. There were 2 100mm 4-inch deck-mounted guns with a range of about 20 kilometers, which would be 12 miles, and they were located forward and aft. Here are the names of the 12 Navarin-class minesweepers that were built, and do forgive me if I pronounce these or misspell them. The Navarin, Manitou, St. George's, Leoben, Palestrow, Lutzen, Bautzen, Inkerman, Cerisoles, Sebastopol, Malakoff, and Senef. On November 23, 1918, the 3 minesweepers, Inkerman, Cerisoles, and Sebastopol, left the harbor, William, Ontario, on the northern shore of Lake Superior. They were headed for the Atlantic Ocean via the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River. Captain M. Leclerc of the French Navy was in charge of the ships and was aboard the Sapatable at the time. There were also 76 French sailors that made up the crews of the Inkerman and Cerisoles, with the addition of 2 veteran Canadian captains as well, Captain R. Wilson and W. J. Murphy. As the ships departed and steamed further into Lake Superior, they encountered a blizzard with recorded winds of 50 miles an hour and waves over 30 feet high. The 3 ships soon lost sight of each other through the snow and waves. The storm was so bad that a sailor aboard the Sapatable said, and I quote, "We had to get out the lifeboats and put on life belts. The boat almost sank, and it was nearly goodbye to anyone hearing from us again. You can believe me. I will always remember that day. I can tell you that I had already given myself up to God." Water began pouring into the Sapatable, flooding part of her engine room, nearly putting out the coal in the fires of her boilers. The storm on Lake Superior pounded the Sapatable for 2 days, but eventually the vessel did manage to reach Sault Ste. Marie, at the east end of Lake Superior. And what became very apparent to the Sapatable was that the Inkerman and Cérisoles were absolutely nowhere to be found. On December 3rd, 1918, just 10 days after the 3 ships left Fort William, a search effort was launched. Also on December 3rd, Canadian and American newspapers reported that the ships were overdue. A week later, a last attempt to search for the ships were reported. However, the search was abandoned by Captain Leclerc on the evening of December 15th, as the Inkerman and Cérisoles were not found, and there was no record of any wreckage or bodies to be found to date. Their exact whereabouts and fates remain a mystery on Lake Superior. My goodness, if there ever was a mysterious ship story on Lake Superior, or I'm sorry, 2 shipwreck stories on Lake Superior, these 2 definitely fit that picture. And the fact that they've never been found, no wreckage, no bodies, I think there's like a general area that they have for an idea of where they could have possibly gone down. But again, Lake Superior is giant, so really it could be anywhere in Lake Superior that these 2 ships went down. Nevertheless, did they go down together, close to each other, or did one sink by itself somewhere and then the other one miles away from it? This just adds to the richness of this story. But yeah, when I first learned about these 2 ships, that definitely hits harder when you hear the amount of men that went down with these 2 vessels. I mean, 78 men down with these ships to their deaths, and that really hits differently. Not that smaller ships or other Great Lakes freighters style ships that only have crews sometimes from 20, 29, or maybe like a car ferry that might have 52. But even still, I don't, aside from the Eastland that sank down by lower Lake Michigan, I don't know of any other ship really that lost this many sailors, at least not yet, that I haven't discovered. I could be totally wrong on that, but yeah, 78 lives lost. And I know there's been a few other videos done on this, but I definitely felt strongly about this, and I wouldn't have done it if I didn't think it was worth your guys' time. And most importantly, this is to respect the 78 lives lost. And I pray that they are at rest, and if there's any family members still alive from a ancestor that went down on it or whatever, I hope this does give them due honor and due respect for it. So, but yeah, guys, this story was fascinating. I love it. I could not get enough of this story. I'm sure there's more information about it. Do please let me know in the comment section down below what you find, because I know my little video is not the half of it, but I definitely wanted to bring attention and awareness to it. So, however, that will be it for today's episode on Songs of the Great Lakes. If you think I deserve a like or a nice comment, or a bad comment, whatever you think. Do leave it down below, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next episode. So until then, God bless you all.